Hey guys, Jay here. So in this video today, I want to talk about my plan for league starting as the Smith of Kitava. And by the way, first of all, about the Ascendancy, I am 100% going to take Fortune Flame, and then eventually I will get two of these following notes. So maybe I will see what does Temper Weapon do. We'll need to see the actual number on it to know if it's good or not, because it can be potentially very good for single target. We don't know, right? For normal clearing, maybe it is clunky, but for single target, maybe it's good if the number is good. We look at the number of infused weapon. We already know the information about that. It is 612% damage effectiveness for the infused weapon skill at level 20, which is the character level 90, I believe. So I do expect around the same power level for the tempered weapon, if not more, as this is bound to be the heavy hitting class, the warrior, right? Let's hope this is good, but anyway, if it is not, we will mess around with manifest weapon and fire spell on hit. This can be a lot of utility stuff, I suppose. I probably will not build around this armor. Maybe early on, if I don't take temper weapon or fire spell on hit, maybe early on we can take flowing metal, we can take the titanium alloy, and we have take increased life, increased strength, for example, or regen. It can be a decent option early on, but eventually I think in the late game a normal body armor or a unique body armor is probably going to be much better than this one. For example, for this class, if I want to care about physical damage, I would just wear a cloak of flame. It is relatively cheap and it just convert a lot of physical damage taken to fire. Physical damage in the game right now is not that much anyway, so converting half or more than half of it to fire, and we have 90% fire resistant, and we have some armor on top because obviously we are going to wear some armor gear. Well, overall I think it is just going to solve itself. We don't need to worry about physical damage anyway, so probably we're not taking this one, right? More into the details. What am I going to use? So I think I am going to use spear skill, and specifically this skill. So let's watch Ziggy's video a little bit here, just a small part of it. This is the skill that I am most interested in, which is Rake. And I kind of am interested in spear field as well, so maybe I would try multiple. Obviously I will try multiple skills, but right now the thing that caught my attention is Rake.
To be. Speaking of bleed builds, the next skill is Rake, the last of the level 3 skills, and this is a bleed-themed mobility skill. Rake is a slashing attack that leaps forwards to a target if possible. It's got a moderate range when targeted on a specific enemy, otherwise it's just a small leap forwards. It takes a bit of...
So you can see this is actually a mobility skill as well, so it feels much better to use, in my opinion. Normally in POE1, I used to play like AFK build or lazy build a lot. The concept is we are very tanky, so we don't need to worry about a lot of stuff that is going on. Try to be immune to as many things as possible, and then try to do damage without pressing like basically no button, or as few button as possible. At least the build I was trying to do in POE1. And POE2, I intend to recreate it eventually. So, hey, if I can build around Rake, and it is considered a movement skill, it is a travel skill, you'll see. Well, that is as lazy as it is to me. So, Rake seems to be very, very strong. I'm not strong, I'm not sure if it's strong, but seems to be fitting for what I want to do, right?
practice to get used to what enemies you can reach to max range with it, but it's really zippy overall, and it can dash you around enemies, and it kind of path finds around obstacles really
Look at this
well
part.
to travel you really fast.
Damn.
And that's good because it does up to 100% more damage based on the distance traveled. You're incentivized to use it to hit and run or as a gap closer after you like flip away with disengage, for example. Now it has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed and 100% more magnitude of bleed, in addition to that up to 100% more damage based on distance. So there's some decent...
So what you see here, the explosion is Hero of Blood. And I think it has potential. So Hero of Blood actually is following. I will not be playing the part with Hero of Blood. at this point, that will be a Ziggity video, not my video anymore. I just want to show you guys the part with the rake. But obviously, I will be using Hero Blood as well. As you can see, it helps with clear quite a lot. And it looks really, really bloody cool. Pun intended.
Some bleed scaling going on here. It's got a somewhat low base attack damage, but all of those kind of multipliers put together mean that it ends up being a pretty good skill, if nothing else, for clear, and surprisingly actually good for single target.
By the way, in this footage, I would imagine that he is playing with a build that is prepared for him. So the damage might look a little bit lower than what we can actually expect if we build it like ourselves. Normally, people can have early test stuff in with GG. Normally, get provided with like a pre-made character, and the gear is often quite dog shit, to be honest.
As like a hit and run combined with some other skills. It's really fast and fun skill. I liked it a lot. A useful mobility even on non-bleed builds too. The combo of rake, whirlwind, parry, disengage, and then rake again. Just kind of like that dash in, flip back combo. It was really fun. Obviously, brutality, heft, and deep cuts are going to be there for bleed damage.
Yeah, this is very cookie cutter stuff that we already know work for bleed builds. Bleed builds is not really that strong right now. There is one particular bleed build that is very good, but other than that, it's kind of whatever. And now let's just hope that this one actually can work, and we can scale it to a viable, like, end game or close to end game option.
Cadence and martial tempo if you want to use it more for speed and maneuverability. And I actually stumbled upon Stomping Ground as a support for this, which is really...
This one, I am insanely interested into this one because I used to try to play around with Stomping Ground before. So what I use is with Vaulting Impact with a quarterstaff, specifically Pillar of the Cage God, because I can stack strength, which gives me base damage in here, and the pillar is going to give me increased damage. The Stomping Ground does not care about the damage of your weapon, it just cares about your strength. So we actually have a very huge amount of base damage here. Well, sadly right now we are a spear user. We no longer benefit from the Pillar of the Cage God. Pillar got nerfed very heavily by half, literally, but I think it is still a very strong option. The problem with that setup is the Vaulting Ground is a very, very slow travel skill. It has a fixed duration for the attack time. It has the minimum attack time, basically, of like 1 point something second. I don't remember exactly, but the animation is very long, and it only creates the Stomping Ground at the end where you land. So it basically is a little leaf slam-like animation, and you will move forward a little bit. So it is very slow. Regardless of your attack speed, I try to, you know how fast a stat stacker can be, and it's not fast at all. It's not flurry. It have a fixed attack time again, which is the problem. So playing with that is horrible. Feels very bad.
Fun. Rake moves
but it's
so
not a problem
fast
with
and
this
kind
one.
of a lot of steps, so Stomping
Look at
Ground has
this.
a bunch of hits to make Rake a
So
single time.
basically every single step he takes, so basically I think that is 3 or 4 steps something. We can see the little shockwave animation that just push out, pumping out,
and clear skill at the same time.
so
you're just gonna have to have a little bit of strength for the damage to be
see,
based on.
those are the pulsing, the little circle around the character is the Stomping Ground over here. So I think this is the skill for Stomping Ground. The only question is there a spear base or a unique spear, ideally, that can heavily favor this playstyle of strength stacking? I don't think there is, but at least I think early on, regardless, it will be a very nice addition because we start as a marauder, or a warrior, sorry, I used to the POE term, POE1 term. We are close to a lot of strength. We can take other stat, but we can take a lot of strength. And it can be a pretty significant amount of damage we can get early on. And we can use this one. It is extra damage, extra clear. Overall, I think this will be a very nice thing to use early on, right? Later, I don't know. if we don't heavily stack strength, I don't think it is going to be worth it in the end game.
But because on a bleed build you need a bunch of red sports, you're going to have some strength anyway. And just with the strength I kind of needed from and got from some incidental gear, I found this combo was very strong. Definitely a cool combo. One to have a look at for sure.
Yeah, I think this will be very, very strong for leveling. Anyway, that is the main skill that I want to kind of build around. Right now, my eye is all on Rick. I think it looks good. It's not very flashy, but if you combine it with Hero of Blood and Bleed, it would just be popping everything all around. It looks nice. I think it will look very nice. So anyway, last part, the skill tree. So we don't have the actual skill tree of 0.20 yet. So this is roughly what I kind of think I will be getting for the bleed build that I am going for. So we can do this, or actually 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. So this is still the shorter route. So we will go out this way. We will grab a little bit of stuff here. Maybe you can get the attack damage and area of effect here. Maybe you can get the attack speed on the way. But eventually, if we want to go to and build around bleed, I think we will rush toward this cluster. We will get the magnitude instead of the chance, because as Ziggity mentioned in the video, this skill guaranteed to bleed, so we don't care about the chance to bleed anymore, and we can just use a bunch of bleed magnitude and yeah, just have a good time. I think this pathing will just give a lot of damage. The Ascendancy already is kind of full tank, so if we go for this route, we can get a bunch of damage, and then I think I will go this way, right? This way we will have a bunch of nice things. First of all, this is insanely good for stacking fire resistant. Basically, stacking fire resistant will just give you everything. It will give maximum fire rest, it will give lightning and cold rest, and it will give maximum lightning and cold rest because of the Ascendancy. So this is just insane. And maybe we can have some other cool things here as well. I don't know exactly. Maybe we can get some strength early on for the stomping ground. Maybe we can grab the strength here early on. There's a lot of options, but there's a lot of bleed stuff here. There's a rage here, which I think is very good. Rage is just more damage. If you can get a bunch of rage, this whole cluster is going to give a lot of rage, first of all, and it is going to give a lot of rage on hit as well. So very nice. And yeah, after that, the spear area of the skill tree is probably going to be around this area anyway. So if we want to take a bunch of spear passive, I would imagine it is going to be somewhere around this area. So the pathing looks good. Maybe we will go to this one, Dance with Death. Early on, maybe a shield. If a shield is not necessary, maybe I will use Dance with that. But eventually later for the end game setup, I am planning to play around with a shield skill. So a shield is going to be there. So Dance with Death early on, maybe a lot of attack speed. Attack speed is technically movement speed with Rick. And yeah, overall it's just more damage, and we can just deal with bosses faster basically. There's a bunch of nice thing in here. This area of the skill tree will change, by the way, so I don't take anything specifically in this area. There will be a bleed there will be a bleed keystone here, which make the bleed last for only 1 second, but is aggravated, which deals 3 times the damage. I think I will take it. I don't know where it is exactly, but I will probably take it. And then there is a keystone allows you to have 2 companion. Maybe we can also just get the companion. I think that is going to be very good. 2 companion, we can just get some monster with nice auras, and it can it is reviving monster, by the way, so you don't need to find them again, and I think it'll be extra nice. Probably a lot of people is going to use them. So that is going to be my rough plan for league starting and as a Smith of Kitava. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think the spear skill is going to not let me down, basically. I also really want to try, the end game version. There might be a lot more skills that has not been shown yet. Right now, the only man outside of GG who knows more specific information about the spear skills is Ziggy D. So I cannot wait for the part 2 of this one. I really like the look of the Spear of Solaris, the big lightning beam from the sky. We'll see what it does. And if it is good enough, maybe we will have a setup with it for a single target. I would imagine it will be something like a Hammer of the God kind of skill. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rambling about my League Start plan for 15 minutes. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Please leave a like and subscribe.